How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. So we've seen through the first 5 or 6 weeks a lot of games decided on some wacky special teams plays, whether it's a punt bouncing off of a coverage guy, some missed field goals, onside kicks that don't get recovered. What are you doing to keep your guys focused on the special teams aspect of the game being a real factor, especially since you guys haven't played in about 10 months?
Yeah, to your point, um, we've been cutting out all those clips. So throughout the weekend, Coach Ryan McInerney, myself, Coach Allen, we got a text going, and every single time there's a special teams gaff or something that we see watching games or pop-ups on our phone, and we see it on Twitter, we're contacting our video guy, and we're having him pull those clips. And every single meeting that we have, special teams meeting, every single day, we've been showing those clips and just teaching. I think that's the biggest thing because it's so hard to replicate that. Number one, the speed, the environment, the play itself, but just teaching those guys exactly, hey, this is a situation that occurred. We're going to learn from other people's mistakes and just be ready for those when the opportunity comes. We've executed a few of them. For example, the Dallas Cowboy, Atlanta Falcon, we call it the watermelon onside kick, right? You haven't really seen that one where the ball spins at a slow pace. And I think it was Atlanta, right? Backed off. There was that huge controversy, who were the players coached to recover it? Well, did they know what to do in that situation? We have physically executed that with our hands team multiple times already. So, just learning from those mistakes that we've seen other teams make has been really beneficial for us. And then just trying to show those guys as much film as possible during meetings.
All right, Matt, and then John Blau.
Coach T, how we doing?
Good. How you doing, Matty?
I'm okay, man. Obviously, you're coaching Huskies this year, and you guys obviously had a blow with Marcelino going down. But Brian Fitzgerald, stepped in there, and Coach Womack said yesterday he's really had a cut. Last couple of weeks have been good for him. But behind him, what have you seen as far as guys stepping up? I mean, are there certain guys that are kind of taking hold of that number 2 position, or is it going to be more of a committee deal where when he comes off the field, you put guys in there depending on the situation?
Yeah, it's going to be by committee. Right now, we're repping a lot of different guys there. We had about 7 take reps last scrimmage. 7 different guys played Husky. It's more situational than anything else. Like for Michigan State, we've slid Taiwan inside a little bit, just get some matchups and things like that. And obviously, he did a phenomenal job there. So, he's a guy. Jamar Johnson has experience there. We feel like we can use him if we need him. Noah Pierre's another guy that we've practiced there in the past when we've been short. And I think a lot of people forget, Fitz started at Husky 2 years ago at Rutgers. A lot of people forgot, that was when Leno went down, and then Jamar played and had a pick in that game at Husky as a true freshman. So we feel like we've got a lot of guys that can fill that void. Now I'm going to lean heavy on Fitz, at that position early and just make sure he's coached up and ready to roll. He has. He's been doing a phenomenal job, and obviously we miss Marcelino a ton, but Fitz is ready to roll.
All right, John Blau and Kevin Brockway.
Speaking of, special teams and long snappers, Coach Allen was saying that, you even tried to identify more long snappers just because of the, circumstances, potentially if there's a COVID test and someone is out. Who are some of the guys you guys have identified or, figured out could actually slide into that role if necessary?
Yeah, it's actually been really positive, and because you've seen a lot of games where literally teams have had to roll with their 4-string long snapper. So we have had Hayden work with, I would say, at least 5 different long snappers at this point. It's been and short snap as well, because it is a different skill set, right? So we've had everybody from Bryson Bonds, Liam Zacchial, Matt Bjorson, Jake Wellman is our backup right now, but in case something happened there, we feel like we've got a number of guys and we've got about 5 that I'm confident in that have taken live reps in practice with an opponent squad coming at them, put them in some pressure situations. So, again, that's another, position where we're just trying to prepare for the worst.
All right, Kevin, then Stefan.
Coach, your return units who are emerging as some of your punt and kick returners maybe that you intend to use this season, and what are you looking for from your return game this season?
Yeah, obviously we feel really good about Dave Ellis being a returner back there, a kick returner. He's an explosive player, and I know offensively they love him as well, and hard not to. He's got a phenomenal skill set. I think he's got great vision. We've changed up personnel a little bit on the front line on some of those things just to get some more blockers up there, and some length up there as well. Just guys that can get back fastly, get in position, and square guys up and do a good job with leverage and feet. And then obviously punt returner, I think you've got two phenomenal all-conference punt returners in Reese and Wap. I think they're both so skilled with the ball in their hands. That one can be by committee as well between those two. Feel comfortable with either of those guys back there, at those positions as well. So I think we've got a stable of good returners that have good vision, can make people miss in space. Now the job is to get the other 10 guys doing their job, blocking for them, and make sure we keep those defenders off.
All right, Stefan, and then back to Matt.
Hey, Coach, special teams is something that obviously Coach Allen takes a lot of pride in, having worked with it, himself in the past. I mean, how much have you kind of still been working with him together, and how involved has he still been in?
Yeah, heavily involved, and there's no doubt he takes a lot of pride in being a former coordinator himself. It's been instrumental for me to bounce ideas off him, grab him, say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. What do you see? How would you react in this situation? And not only that, it's just in those game type situations where, you got to expect the unexpected, so to speak. And so it's been good just to bounce ideas off of him. And he puts me in tough situations where I got to make checks and calls very quickly in practice. And it's been great practice for me. I'll tell you, there's other guys too, not just him, but Coach Hart, Coach Shelby. Coach Shelby here obviously was the punt return coach when we had Jay Sean running all of them back, and Mitchell Page. And so I've been able to talk to him and bend his ear a lot. I think Coach Hart does a phenomenal job on kickoff return with the rhombus on the back end guys, and I can bounce ideas off him. Coach Hurd has been great. So a lot of coaches have been involved in just me, asking them for some opinions. Hey, guys that have experience doing these things in the past. So it's kind of been by committee, but Coach Allen, no doubt, has been instrumental just, in guidance and helping me learn throughout the process.
All right, Matt, and then we'll wrap up with John.
Coach, I was going to ask you about Charles Campbell. Obviously, new kicker this year. Logan Justice did a great job for 2 years. Charles had a couple kicks, I think, last year, the huge one in the bucket game that everybody remembers. What have you seen from him in preseason practice? And kind of a two-part question, are you guys still going to do the two, use one guy for kickoffs and one guy for field goals and extra points?
Sure. I'll answer your second question first. So, Jared is our kickoff guy. Obviously, he's got a phenomenal leg. But I think when you look at the time of the season that we're going to have, the ball doesn't carry as well, right? Legs get fatigued, those type of things. Chris Freeman is a young guy that has really, really been impressive during camp. Indianapolis young man. Obviously, he was a Indiana player of the year in soccer, and so he's got a great leg on him. I've been really pleased. He can control the ball, really, really well. You could tell him where you want it, and he puts it there. So he's been great. I think he'll help Jared a lot in kind of that two kickoff system, that we used a little bit last year with Nate and Jared. So I feel good about that. And then Charles has been outstanding. The first time I met with Charles, I asked him if he liked pressure, and right away kind of smiled, lit up, and he was like, absolutely. And I think that speaks volumes to him coming in and nailing that field goal that he did at Purdue. I mean, you want to talk about a pressure kick. That's a pressure kick. Rivalry game, right? We haven't had the bucket in a couple of years, and we wouldn't have it if it wasn't for his kick. And there's no doubt in my mind. And so, he's risen to the occasion here in camp. You saw that 57-yarder from the scrimmage a couple weeks ago. And he's a little airy. He'll tell you, Coach, I'm good from 65. I don't know if it's good for 65, but but you want that. You want that in your kicker. You want him to be confident. You want him to be, confident in his skills and his abilities. And he's kicked really well. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the possibilities of watching him kick all season for us. I think he's going to score a lot of points for the Hoosiers.
All right, John, last one.
Coach Allen in the past talked about Hayden Whitehead as actually being somewhat of a leader, which is, rare for, a specialist or a punter. What have you seen from him, and what does it, add to have a 25-year-old, in the locker room, and a punter that you can kind of rely on, even as a holder too, just to have him in those roles and have his personality in that group? Yeah,
he's the unquestioned leader of the specialist group, but I would even say special teams. When if we're running PAT field goal, I mean, he's barking out orders to the O-line. Those dudes are listening. I mean, he knows what he knows what his job is, and he executes it just about as well as I've ever seen. And he's so confident in his ability. And I think more so, I think the guys see his work ethic from afar. And I'm talking more about offensive, defensive players, see his work ethic. He's always out there punting. He's always out there doing extra. And I think guys take that to notice. And then you talk to the coaches in the weight room. They love the kid in the weight room. And he's 25. He's a man. All right, let's call a spade a spade. So, I won't tell him that, but he's, he is a man and he handles his business like a man. And that's what's awesome to have at the end of the day. I don't want to say I don't have to worry about him because I always worry about my players, but he handles himself, in a meter. That is what you want in a leader. Special assistant to him. And then if he's out there in Crimson Watch or, punt, if he's out there in PAT field goal and those guys, they listen to him and it's because he's earned it. He's earned their respect by the way he works and approaches it every single day.